I would say we traded pretty decently this past week. Now let's get right into this week's Forex Forecast. All right, starting the forecast off with the COT report for the US dollar. And the COT report is the bank's positioning. So this is a spreadsheet here. And as you can see, the banks got rid of 99 longs and they also added 2,244 shorts. And that is pretty evident, with this pretty nice push down. Sorry, on the weekly chart right there. I did not mean to do the whole thing here, but just this last weekly candle. So with a top-down approach here, starting with the weekly, you can see we still have profit margin at least down to weekly demand at about 101.11. Now, will this demand hold and push back up to supply? I don't know, probably not. It's very, very tested. 3, 4, almost 5 times now, and very deeply tested. So I'm really not in love with the weekly zone. It is just giving us kind of a bigger picture idea of where we could be headed. Now, on the daily chart, in my opinion, it's borderline a downtrend. It's very close. We could pretty much call this a downtrend. 100% the momentum is down. That is basically undeniable at this point. Now, we are contacting this daily demand zone from back here that I've had on my charts for quite a while now. Now, this is a zone that I do not think should really hold that well. It's very tested, but obviously we are seeing some sort of reaction off of it. So we could start to see some pressure up in the dollar, but at the end of the day, the momentum is down, and I am definitely pretty bearish the dollar. As far as the 4-hour chart goes, I wanted to show you guys this. So we are into 4-hour supply right now. We definitely could react to the downside off of this supply at 102.43, looking at the DXY here. But the problem with it is we created the supply, the basing here, and then we pushed down and almost immediately returned back to it. This is definitely not one of my favorite supply zones, although it definitely could work. Like I said, it is not the highest odds situation. It's not horrible, but it's not great if you catch my drift. So what I think could happen is we could just break through the supply anywhere in this area, even higher up here. We still could see a move down off of. There's really no zones here except for up here. But I'm just saying we could kind of pierce above, kind of maybe float around this area and then end up dropping just because of the poor quality of this supply zone. So hopefully all of this makes sense. We have downtrends on the dollar. Day trading shorts for sure are on the table, as well as swing trading shorts. Like I said, if we can get some sort of confirmation, it would be good. But at the end of the day, we are into 4-hour supply, and we definitely could see the DXY start to turn around. Even though it is already kind of going down, we are starting to see some bullish pressure, which doesn't mean we're going to go to the moon, right? It just means it could be a pullback in the bigger picture, downtrend. On to the forecast for the Euro US dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 3,847 longs, and they also added 1,186 shorts. So if you guys remember from last week's forecast, I was talking about this daily demand at 1.07, and what a move off of this daily demand zone here. That's why supply and demand is extremely important. Now we are at the high. We pretty much got the big move up. Yes, we could still go higher, but we are at the high, and clearly, based on this daily candle, we're clearly hesitating. There's no denying that. If we can break above this high, that would be a very nice daily uptrend, and that would be even more bullish. So how do we trade the euro now? Well, there's a couple options. On the 1-hour chart here, you can see we pushed down, we broke this demand, wasn't too surprised by that, left us with supply at 1.09. If we push up to the supply, if you're bearish the euro, which I'm personally not, we could see a move off that supply. This is really the only way I would even short the euro at that point. What I would be looking for longs would just be the removal of that supply. That would be enough for me to suggest we could go long. And if there's a 1-hour demand zone here, I'll have that zone on my charts, and we could be looking for trades off of that zone. On to the 4-hour chart here on the euro, you can see we are into 4-hour demand. Now, this is a decent demand zone. In my opinion, we definitely could see a move off this demand zone. You could be looking for lower time frame day trades in here on like a 50-minute chart, looking for confirmation. I'm not going to go down to the lower time frames in this video. I save that for the daily market breakdown videos. And if you guys want access to these daily market forecasts, I basically do a little 10-minute video forecast every single day throughout the week to kind of show you guys zones and everything. Check it out. Links in the description. Down below, you can see a ton of examples of the trades here on the screen right now. We have video lessons and Sunday meetings and much, much more. So I'd be happy to see you guys. Join the team if you want all of that good stuff. So a 4-hour chart, we could see the move up. on the euro. We have to be trading with caution because we are at the high, like I said, but at the end of the day, we are into some sort of demand, and the euro, in my opinion, is pretty bullish, and we could start to see that move up. And like I said, back to that daily chart, if we go back really quick, if we can remove that high here, that's a very, very bullish sign, because then we would have a daily uptrend. Because at this point, yes, the momentum is certainly up, but we don't quite have that uptrend yet, and that's what I'm going to be looking for next. On to gold. The past week, the banks got rid of 15,304 longs, and they also added 7 shorts. I don't think I've ever seen that on gold, so, or really anything. So that's pretty crazy. So looking at the weekly chart here, we have a weekly uptrend. Just want to kind of give you guys that bigger perspective. A lot of people might be disappointed in gold. You know, we broke the all-time highs here, set some records, and all of a sudden, boom, we shot right back down. I'm not too surprised by that, but I just wanted to kind of blow things up here and kind of get a bigger perspective here, and really you guys show you how clean and consistent this weekly uptrend really is. Now, as you can see, we broke these highs back here, but honestly, guys, I'm pretty bullish gold. As long as we have this weekly uptrend, I think it's going to be pretty bullish here for gold. As far as trading it goes, really all I'm seeing here is this daily demand zone at 1996. We had supply, I pointed out last week, but again, just like I talked about in the DXY, that little 4-hour supply zone, if you guys remember, you guys can go back. We had the supply created on the DXY, pushed down and immediately shot back up. Same thing here, right, where we had the supply, immediately pushed back up. So I'm not too surprised this zone was removed on the daily chart, and that is a significant sign. Why? Well, because we had a daily uptrend, right? We had a beautiful daily upward trend line. We broke the trend line with this supply, and now we broke this supply with this demand. So in my opinion, at 1996, at this daily demand, this would be a decent area to look for swing trade longs, day trade longs, whatever you want to do. In my opinion, that's where I would be looking for a pullback long entry. And remember, this zone as well is not great. It's about as good as this zone in my opinion. But what this has going for it, rather than this, is the weekly uptrend, right? So this is this zone right here doesn't look great. It's about as good as this one. But what's different is the fact that this zone would be trading with the trend, where this one was trading against the trend. So even if we push down, break that zone, push back down to this daily demand, as long as we push down deeper into this demand zone, I still think we could look for longs down there at 1931. So in my opinion, very bullish on gold with that weekly uptrend. We just need to wait for pullbacks down to these daily zones before we even consider getting in long, because, you know, gold kind of just a lot of manipulation, but that is what I'm seeing on gold. Remember, guys, if you guys have any questions at all, do not hesitate to leave a comment. I respond to every single question. On to the forecast for the USDJPY. The past week, the banks got rid of 23,865 long contracts, and they also got rid of 40 short contracts. So using a daily chart here, you can see we had supply. We reacted off that supply, pushed down, created more supply. But the problem with this in the daily chart, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 supply zones now, and it's really, you know, which one's going to hold? It's difficult, right? Will this one hold? I don't know. I think if we take our time and push up to it, I think it could hold, but it is a supply zone, a reaction off of a previous supply zone, so not the highest odd situation. And I'm going to go ahead and right away say the USDN definitely not on my watch list personally for trading, for a few reasons. There's not really a good daily downtrend or anything. On the 4-hour chart, yes, we have nice downtrends. We have supply zones being respected, but like the trades have already kind of taken place, at least on the higher, like the 4-hour charts and the 1-hour charts. So really, all I can say on the USD yen, since we have this beautiful 4-hour downtrend, I think looking for day trading shorts is going to be fine. Again, in the weekly Forex forecast here on YouTube, I don't go down to the day trading timeframes. I save that for the dealer market breakdown videos, but at the end of the day, we have nice 4-hour downtrends, 1-hour downtrends on the USD yen here. I think we just need to continue to look for day trading shorts, and when I mean day trading, I mean a 15-minute time frame, a 5-minute time frame, and even if you like it, you can even trade the 1-minute time frame as well. And this is a whole trading sequence too, where you can kind of be using the 50-minute as your higher time frame, 5-minute as your intermediate, and the minute as your entry time frame. And at the end of the day, 1-hour downtrend. So again, shorts are definitely going to be preferred, but I just don't have any quality 4-hour or 1-hour supply zones for me to point out for you guys, and that's no big deal. Like I said, you could be sticking to those day trading timeframes here on the USDJPY. On to the British pound, GBPUSD, the banks added 5,652 longs and they got rid of 4,264 shorts. So you guys know I pointed out this daily demand last week, but what I was saying to you guys and to the members as well was, yes, we have a daily zone here on the pound, but if you compared it to the euro zone was actually looking much, much better. So I actually was preferring to trade the euro over the GBPUSD, if that makes any sense. But nonetheless, we did get a beautiful reaction off of this daily chart. In my opinion, this is too steep and too quick to call this an uptrend. That's why the pound really isn't my favorite one to be trading right now either. But at the end of the day, we did break the high where you compare it to the euro, we didn't. So this is actually looking somewhat better in regards to that aspect of it. And as far as the 4-hour chart goes, we have a decent little 4-hour zone here. At 1.265, we definitely could see a move off of that 4-hour zone, at least back up to supply at 1.27. So this is where I would have my eye out on the 4-hour chart. If you're a day trader, there is still potential room to the downside here, but we're getting so close to this 4-hour demand that I would kind of hold off on day trading shorts. And not only that, you have a beautiful 4-hour uptrend. So that's a very, very significant thing here in the pound. And even if, let's say this happens, we break through the supply, start to push back up again, I think at any point, as long as we have this upward trend line holding on the 4-hour chart, at any point, we could be looking for long entries on the day trading timeframes, which again are the 15-minute, 5-minute, and the 1-minute timeframes. Now, when we are pulling back like this, I would probably stick to the 15-minute and the 5-minute timeframes, and I would stay away from the 1-minute because, we're clearly here, the 1-minute is going to be in a downtrend, even possibly the 50-minute. I have to go down and look. But at the end of the day, we have 4-hour uptrends, so that's a very, very bullish sign. And even if you want to wait for this zone to be hit and look for like a 1-minute, 5-minute, 50-minute confirmation in here, whatever you want to do, 1-minute would be more aggressive. 50-minute would be what I would personally do. Now, that's what I would be doing here. Either waiting for this zone to be hit to look for confirmation longs, or at any point, continue to just trade with this overall trend here on the 4-hour chart. But GBP, USD, looking pretty bullish in my opinion with a nice little 4-hour zone there. So hopefully we can get some sort of trading setup. But at the end of the day, my instinct is telling me we need to be continuing to look for longs here on the GBP, USD. USDCAD. The past week, the banks got rid of 2,899 longs, and they also got rid of 296 shorts. So just like a lot of the other pairs, we have a nice 4-hour downtrend and 1-hour downtrend. So you guys guessed it, day trading shorts here on the USDCAD also is a viable option. So just wanted to point that out first. But looking at the daily chart, something significant has taken place. We had daily demand here. I was pointing this out last week. Based on this wick here, it wasn't the best zone, but as you can see, we clearly had some sort of demand here because we reacted up, kind of base out, and then broke through, which left us with supply at 1.35. So looking at the daily chart here, if we do pull up to this daily supply, I think that would be a great area to look for shorts, in my opinion. You could do it on a day trading time frame, even swing trading time frame as well. And I'm a swing trader personally, so this is definitely an area where I would be looking for some sort of momentum shift in the lower time frame to get in short when and if we pull back up to that daily supply zone. How do we know if we're going to pull up to that daily supply zone though? Well, there's really no evidence of it taking place just yet. On the 1-hour chart, if we can start to get some sort of momentum like this, that would be our first sign that we could be going up. So that's what I'm going to be monitoring here on the 1-hour chart. But at the end of the day, USDCAD, downtrends is possible. We don't even pull back up to that daily supply, which is why I'm saying with the 4-hour and the 1-hour downtrend, we could just look for shorts right now on day trading timeframes. I'm personally not a day trader. I know not all of you guys are day traders, and that's why I wanted to point out that beautiful daily supply at 1.354, where we could look for shorts on either swing trading or day trading timeframes as well. All right, AUDUSD, the Aussie US dollar forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 1,919 longs, and they also got rid of 7,260 short positions. Now, starting with a 4-hour chart here, which I usually don't do, but just wanted to point out, beautiful 4-hour uptrend, very similar to like the pound and a lot of the other pairs, where I just want to point out that we could just be looking for longs on day trading timeframes as long as this upward trend line is holding at any point. So just wanted to point that out first for you day traders out there. I know a lot of you guys are day traders, but not everyone, right? So beautiful 4-hour uptrend. I think we just could continue to look for longs there. Now, if we break that 4-hour uptrend, I wouldn't be quite alarmed just yet. If you guys remember from last week, we had the daily supply downward trend line here. We actually broke the daily downward trend line, which has left us with daily demand at 0.659. So if we do pull back down to this demand zone on the daily chart, this is a great area to look for either day trading longs, swing trading longs, whatever you want to do. That is where I would be personally looking for longs and for that break out above that supply. What I would like to see first, though, which would be better, is just like another candle close above this supply where we can call it removed, which would then make this zone higher odds because it not only broke a downward trend line, but also this supply. So that would be better. But even if it doesn't, this zone has been tested once, twice, 3 times very deep now. So even if we pull back now, in my opinion, it's a great area to look for trades at to the long side. So not going to confuse it any more than that. I would like to know your thoughts on the Aussie. Do you think this supply is going to break now, or do you think it's going to hold? Let me know in the comments down below. USDCHF. The past week, the banks got rid of 3,140 longs, and they also added 238 shorts. So we have a beautiful daily downward trend here on the USD Swiss. If we do start to pull up, the nearest supply is at 0.90 on the daily chart. In my opinion, there's absolutely nothing here as far as supply goes, nothing at all that is worth pointing out at all. So I would pretty much ignore that whole area as far as the daily chart goes. But more importantly, guys, we have that daily downward trend. So in my opinion, anything we should be doing should be shorting based on that daily trend. Now on to the 4-hour chart here. Again, beautiful 4-hour downtrend. So what that means is we could just at any point be looking for day trading shorts, like I've been saying, as long as this downward trend line is holding. But the difference here is if let's say we do this where we break the downward trend line, we have a little decent supply zone here at 0.87. If we do pull up that supply, we definitely could see a move off of that supply zone to the downside. So if we do pull up, this is where I would be looking for shorts at. And that's pretty much all there is to it here in the USD Swiss. I don't really feel the need to complicate it anymore. Again, to kind of just summarize, 4-hour downtrend, day trading shorts as long as the trend line's holding. But if we break the trend line, we have a 4-hour supply, and let's say that breaks. Well, at that point, I don't know where price is going, and the whole US dollar is probably a little bit different, which we could get. But at the end of the day, downtrends here on the USD Swiss, I think shorting definitely going to be the best bet. And the bonus of this one actually is that we have a beautiful, daily downtrend as well. All right, last but not least, we are on to crude oil. The past week, the banks got rid of 3,676 shorts, and they also added 13,715 shorts. Sorry, I meant to say longs on the first one. As soon as I said the second shorts, I realized I made a mistake. But anyways, we got a beautiful 4-hour supply zone short off of oil here. As you can see, we pointed that one out in the daily market breakdown video. Beautiful 3-to-1 trade, and then immediately the push back in created demand. Pointed this one out to the members as well. It's 70.53. Now, are we out of the woods yet to the upside? Definitely not. If we kind of zoom out here, we're going to go to a daily chart. Remember, the daily chart is actually down here, so the longs definitely pretty risky. That's why I was more favoring shorts. But look, this supply, very, very poor quality. We definitely could kind of break out of that supply zone. But at the end of the day, we have a beautiful daily downward trend here in oil. We probably want to be favoring shorts. What I would be doing here is doing this. Like, since I am bullish long-term on oil, I kind of want to find a long entry. But the problem is this supply, we pointed out, it's reacting off of it again. So the long trade kind of already worked out down here. So what I'd be waiting for now, if we pull back down to this demand zone again, I still think we could look for longs down there. I think it's fine because it's barely been tested, but confirmation would probably be best on maybe, let's just say, a 15-minute or a 5-minute time frame. But let's say we get something like this where we break that 4-hour supply. Any demand zone that's here, we could also be using that as a potential long trade, just like we did here. So that's really the only 2 options I'm personally seeing here for oil on longs. Remember, it is counter trend, so it is risky. If you want to trade with the trend, what I would be doing is waiting for this supply to be removed, or this demand to be removed. Why? Well, because clearly this demand broke, the downward trend line, and we drew it out, and it already reacted. So it's clearly a significant demand zone. So if we get something like this, boom, where we break that demand and we are left with 4-hour supply, we definitely could be looking for a short trade off that supply, just like we did back here from the daily market breakdown video. So that's what I'm going to be waiting for. And remember, I will have these zones on the charts as they happen. So if we get that break, I'll have the 4-hour supply zone that we could potentially be shorting here. We'll talk about it in the daily market breakdown, right? So hopefully all this makes sense on oil. I like to give, I've gotten some comments recently where it's like, oh, just tell us what to do. Tell us what direction to go in. And look, I'm not going to do that because, I will tell you my personal bias sometimes, but I could see a reason for getting in long if we break this, right? But I could also see a reason for getting in short if we break that. So there are actual two options on the table, and I really like to give you guys, multiple different options, because not everybody, I could sit here until you're blue in the face and say, I'm bearish on oil, and you just won't agree. You're like, nope, I'm bullish. So that's why I like to give, multiple opinions, whether it's long or short. So hopefully this makes sense on crude oil. And like I said at the beginning, guys, any questions, leave in the comments down below. And if you guys want to watch the full length forecast with all the other markets, make sure to subscribe to the channel membership to get access.